I closed an $800,000 build using the same system and the same proposal that I teach my clients with a prospect that I have never met before while sitting here in Puerto Rico, 3,000 miles away from the client. And I did it in 15 minutes. And the amazing thing is we actually recorded it. And so in this video, you're about to see step by step in living color how to sign a deal from anywhere in the world. Let's roll tape. I was going to ask you that. So the water's there as well.
Yeah. So it's a community well, but they've put the line up to the property.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's okay. Community well. That makes sense. I just had a few questions. Jay and Travis told me you guys own the lot. For some reason in that video, I was just going to confirm, like we have the lot under control and the utilities are there and so this is ready to take the drawings, get it permit ready, and proceed. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So we've purchased the lot. So the lot is ours. And yeah, I mean, we're basically ready to start blueprints and all that. You know, that's kind of where we are in the process, I guess. And then once we get blueprints, then we can get financing and stuff.
Awesome.
We're trying to get our camera to work. I don't know what's going on here.
All good. All good. Okay. So normally in this scenario, when I'm provided a floor plan, I do this thing called a risk report, but the fact that you already used the magic word blueprint tells me you guys know exactly where we are in the process. So instead of showing you everything that you already know is missing from the construction drawings in order to get a permit, do you mind if I just go straight into what we got to do to get to a permit ready? About us and the advantages of working with us, and then maybe we can talk timeline and next steps.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome, guys. So what I got here today is the decision today is not whether or not we're going to sign a large build contract with Timeless. Today is more so about deciding if it makes sense to go through our risk mitigation process, which is what we call our blueprinting and pre-construction deliverables. The reason why we call it the risk mitigation plan, it comes down to the big reason why we're different in that we deliver a firm, fixed, guaranteed not to exceed price that will not change unless you change scope. We are not time and material or cost plus contractors that whisper sweet nothings in your ear about how cheap this is going to be and then hit you with change order after change order after change order later. And so if that's important to you, we're your guy. The interesting stat here, Hal's published, 80% of residential projects like this will exceed budget by 20% or more. And that's due to one of two reasons. Either A, contractor games, where you have a contractor who lowballs you and then change orders you. Or B, it's inaccurate, incomplete, insufficient design and how the team is structured. And so the only way we can truly protect you is understanding there's a big difference between what is blueprint ready and what is change order free ready. And in this risk report I'm going to give you, what is highlighted yellow is what we got to do in order to get this blueprint ready, which, you know, your title block, your site plan, your grading and drainage plan, your floor plan, finishing that with interior and exterior elevations, the structural and framing plan, mechanical, plumbing, electrical. I'm going to send you this doc. Yeah, the specifications sheet. This is where a lot of people get hit. I should really make this purple because though you need it for a permit, the level of detail is different from getting to a change order free standard. So what I'm trying to get at is if all we're trying to do is get to a blueprint, then simply having the drawing, you know, all the way through the electrical plan. And I'll share with you, I have a checklist here I'm also going to share with you. Please don't approve any work product from an architect or a designer or another contractor until you have them sit down with you and line by line show them that every single call out here is included. Number one, that's going to tamp down your back and forth with the permit office. And number two, it's going to help you eliminate the risk of change orders because where there's detail, there cannot be a change order because it's specified. It's color coded based on who typically would be responsible for it. So again, I'm going to send this with the risk report I have for you. as well as the
Okay.
proposal, because the last thing I want to see is good people like you guys go do a build and then somebody takes advantage of you. So this is just my way of, if I can't have your business, I'm going to make sure that whoever does it right for you. Moving on. It's not enough to have a blueprint ready. It needs to be a change order free standard. What gets us to a change order free standard? And that's a complete set of permit ready construction documents. That's the operative word there, construction
Okay.
documents. And the thing is, if you talk to 100 different contractors and ask them what are construction documents, you're going to get 100 different answers. The way we use this term, what that means is a set of drawings that passes this checklist that I'm referencing so that it's complete. In other words, everything being built in this structure is shown to scale somewhere in the plans. The difference, and that will get you a permit. And technically, those are called design drawings. In order for us to get to construction documents, we also need an airtight specification sheet. Some people call it a scope of work, is line by line. Every stick and every brick that's going into the job is cited based on the page it can be found, a description of what's on that page,
Okay.
the quantity, and the cost. This then doubles as the scope of work on your contract, because the funny thing about contract law, where a lot of contractors take advantage of homeowners, is what is not expressly included in the contract is implicitly excluded. And so where the reason why 80% of homeowners become that statistic is due to assumptions that you thought it was included, and then the contractor points to the scope of work that maybe you looked at it, maybe you didn't, but the fact is what you thought was in there is not on this document. The contractor is not bound, is not liable, and there's going to be a change order, right? And we are a change order free shop, so our spec sheets are exhaustive down to the stick and the brick. On what page? What is it? How many? How long is it? Who's it being ordered from? How long is it going to take to get here? What's the size, weight, finish, color, part number? So when you have that in conjunction with the drawings, plus a general contractor's responsive bid. What I mean by responsive is there are no stipulations or exclusions, that they 100% accept that scope of work we put together, which then 100% covers the drawings. Then you as the homeowner are 100% covered, provided this is a firm fixed price contract, not time and materials. When you guys hear time and materials or cost plus, what I want you to hear is blank check, because the contractor is not liable for anything. His number is just a guess. So the only other way change orders happen is how the team is put together. In any team, whether it's design build, it's a contractor-led joint venture with a designer or architect, it's an architect-led joint venture. There's three players. You got the sales rep, you have the lead designer, and then you have the lead carpenter. And one thing I've learned, Sandy and Tony, that I'm sure Travis and Jay will agree with me, is if you don't know somebody and you want to predict their behavior, study how they're compensated. Yep. And so that sales rep, they're paid a commission, and their responsibility to you ends. And I'm not a sales rep. I'm just the estimator and project director on this. The sales rep's paid a commission on the project. Their responsibility to you ends the moment your deposit check clears. And so in a scenario like that, can you foresee an example where that person may be influenced to perhaps overpromise what can be delivered for the money? Like, is that even a possibility for you?
Yeah, anytime.
And then with the designer, they get compensated actually two ways, believe it or not. They get paid for their time to put the architect to put the project together, draw the documents. But most of their income comes from selling the finishes and fixtures that go in the project. And a lot of times I've found the designers call it the dream design doesn't necessarily align with your budget, and they're not accountable to you in build. Their compensation hinges on you taking the more luxury packages. They make more when you order the higher end finishes. So in a scenario like that, can you see how the designer may mistakenly underrepresent the true cost of construction due to their incentive structure?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the lead carpenter, usually this poor soul was promoted to a position of leadership because of their prowess with a chop saw and a miter saw, a hammer, and they now have to fit 10 pounds of promises from the sales rep and the designer into a 5 pound bag called your budget. And when that happens, this person is an hourly employee. Their only tool to fix a situation is to just work longer. But the thing is, you guys are smart. You sign a firm fixed price contract. So the person that is paying attention to this is the general contractor. And the longer this job takes, the more it costs the general contractor, which the more it increases their incentive to find or otherwise invent change orders in order to protect their margin. That right there, everything we've just described here is the main reason why 80% of homeowners, according to House, have a 20% or more cost overrun. On a $600,000 to $1 million barn door, that's $120,000 to a $200,000 bill that we didn't foresee. And even if you had that money laying around in a couch, I'm sure you wouldn't want to part with that without good reason, right?
Right.
Okay. So what we do differently at Timeless, we don't have sales reps. We have project directors who are your single point of contact. That's Travis, who are your single point of contact from the moment we come into contact with each other all the way through your warranty closeout. Their role is to essentially be your representative in our internal process, be the advocate of your vision and your budget. Meanwhile, we don't have lead carpenters. We have project managers like Mr. Dan Jackson, who's on this call right now. And Dan's role is every time, Sandy and Tony, that you guys make a decision regarding the design, the direction we're going to go, Dan is updating that number in real time with what it's going to cost. And because we don't mark up materials in our invoice, there isn't any gamesmanship here. What that does is that by Dan giving the true cost of construction every time the designer makes a suggestion or you confirm a decision, it makes it impossible for the design team to design this project beyond your budget. Because there's nothing worse than investing dollars into a pretty picture that we can't turn into a building.
Yep.
So scope of work here, notice this has nothing to do with the barn dough itself. This has to do with everything we need to do to get this to permit ready standard. I'm going to highlight in yellow, or I'm going to highlight in red what gets us to permit ready. And then what's in black, that's what gets us to change order free standard. Okay. We talked about what to do. This is how we arrive at that guaranteed not to exceed firm fixed price. It starts with the measure meeting site visit. We already have your initial conceptuals. What we need to do is reconfirm the site plan, the survey. I know you got the survey, but we're going to get together with you, with the draftsman, with Dan, and we're going to flesh out what's called the design brief so that the drafting team can then finish the floor plan with your elevations, which also finishes your renderings. So we actually, we have a really good idea of what this is going to look like. And from there, we then can build the first draft of your running estimate. Now, in this first draft, everything that is construction material, that's material that has to go into the project that doesn't need you to select it, to pick it out. Stuff like the steel, any lumber, drywall, fasteners, that kind of stuff, that will be quoted for you at retail, and it'll cite the vendor where we're getting it from so that you can verify and see those numbers. And then you'll have two more numbers. You'll have a range, which is your budget for your selections, which are all the things that you're going to want to pick out, like your cabinets, your cabinetry, your flooring, appliances, fixtures, lighting, etc. And then our projected range for labor. And this is really important. So once you approve the floor plan, what's going to happen is Travis is going to ask you at the end of this meeting, are you 100% comfortable with the investment range? And you'll see a number like this. This is actually taken from my partner in San Francisco. I'm a partner in a few other shops, but oftentimes the selection budget's a little thin. I expect that to happen. I do. And our three levers to fix this are either A, we add more budget, B, we condense the scope, the floor plan of the building, or C, we acknowledge the risk and we move on to the next phase. And what I mean by that is we go through and we pretend like everything's all honky-dory and go to selections. It's just, I'm going to tell you through Travis straight up where we're at. you're going to be able to see the math behind it. But the thing is, the reason why we wait to lock in labor until after the selections are decided is because number one, there's a world of difference between installing a $35,000 set of cabinetry and a $150,000 set of cabinetry, even if they're the same size. What we do is once we understand the pure scope of work, selections and specifications and quantities and type, that way I can build scopes of work for our trade specialists. What we do differently than any other contractor in the hills, I can confirm this. I've tried to find somebody that does it this way. We invite every trade specialist we know to bid and confirm the project, confirm their bid. And we call it Trades Day. Now, in a remodel, there's an actual project to walk through. But in a new build, we do what's called a page turning at the office. And so what happens is we send out the scopes along with budgets that are anchored low, because you never know if a guy says that's qualified, that says, yeah, I can do it. And we always invite at least two. The sub that we trust, whose craftsmanship is amazing, usually not the cheap guy. And then we invite somebody new or somebody we know is cheap. We have no intention of using them, but I want their number in order to negotiate with the guy I do want to work with in order to arrive at a true market number, to provide that competition so we get the best quality's best price. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes, as a result of our page turning, we can find 5 to 10% of savings. And a lot of times that's the difference between making your budget and busting it. We specifically follow this process. Heaven forbid, we're at an impasse where we absolutely can't reduce scope of work and the budget just absolutely won't work with you. Then my guidance is going to be to Travis, to you guys. You can call me direct. I'll give you my cell. But my guidance will be, hey, let's complete the design process. Let's go to Trades Day. Let's see what the true cost of labor is before we make any other decisions about the design. Because there's no point in engineering a compromise if we don't have to take one. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So from there, again, once we get to that spot and we complete the page turning, then you get a guaranteed firm fixed price from us. Now, unlike any other design build shop in South Dakota, even Wyoming for that matter, there's one or two in Colorado. We want you to shop us. We do. Take the scope of work, take the drawings, go get other bids. And the reason why is we guarantee to beat any qualified bid by $500 or we'll send you to dinner. Mm. And the reason why we do that is so that that I know that you're going to shop me, and so that that I'm providing my best numbers because you're going to shop me. Mm-hmm. Right. So the other reasons why to work with us, if certainty about your budget is important to you, if certainty about your schedule is important to you, we're your contractor, hands down, because we guarantee 0 builder change orders. What that means is unless you guys change the scope after we've started construction, the price and the schedule is not changing. We guarantee the delivery date. We guarantee the price. Does that make sense? Yep. Awesome. So let's talk projected investment. I know this is why we're all here. First off, I did a little math just to give you guys an idea. So the garage, 56 by 64 feet, 18-foot walls, living space, 40 by 46, 9-foot walls, 612 pitch roof. What we can expect going forward. So the thing is, until we do that selections process and that trades day, the best guidance I can give you is the finished living area. Expect it to range from $220 a foot at like builder grade Airbnb quality, upwards of $350 a foot, which is magazine award winning, Martha Stewart HGTV level type finishes. Most of our clients are going to be somewhere in the middle. Right. On the garage and shop, we can get a lot more narrow, depending on the insulation, the doors, and the linear panels and the drains that we choose during the as-built process. It's going to range somewhere between $90 and $120 a foot to build the shell. And so the biggest levers that you guys can exercise in order to influence the budget in the garage, are we doing heated or unheated? What's the insulation package going to be? The interior liner panels, the floor drains, the number and size of overhead doors, the living space, it's really going to come down to the number of bathrooms, what we're doing inside the bathroom in terms of custom showers and tile versus inserts, HVAC type, spray foam versus batten, and the finishes in the kitchen. Yeah, our budget is going to be made or busted in the bathrooms in the kitchen. I'll just be straight with you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Having done the math for you, this project, we don't see it being below 720. We don't see it being above 870. And you're like our typical client that's looking for tasteful value. In other words, not the cheap stuff, but not the crazy expensive stuff, but it's super nice. It's going to be, I would expect this to be between 780 and 830. I understand 720 to 870 is a uselessly wide number, almost impossible to make a financial plan from, let alone get financing approval from the bank. So that's why we want to go through our price value guarantee path to arrive at that itemized scope of work with the schedule of values. We know how to work with banks. Dan over there is a genius at it. And so like an architect, like a design firm, we treat this as a retainer, but unlike an architect or a design firm that's going to be targeting somewhere between 12 and 15% of final build and then billing against that retainer at $300 to $400 an hour, we're sitting at 150. And the reason why is we all use the same draftsmen. We all use the same interior designers and selections people. We all have access to the same showrooms, and we all have to use the same engineers because this is a new structure. So we make our living building beautiful buildings. They got to make a margin on the plans to make the building. So that design and feasibility retainer is $8,000. We give you a bi-weekly, so every other week accounting of the time and the activity and an estimation of completion for you as that retainer spends down. This is designed in such a way that as long as we're efficient with our decisions and we don't have to go backwards and re-engineer, it's going to come in slightly below that number. And whatever's left in the retainer, we credit towards your build. We credit actually the entire retainer if you decide to work with us. Whatever's left in the retainer, we refund you if we lose your build to somebody else. So talking next steps is our page turning in order to start the design process. I have April in here. We had a rescheduling, so we have the month of February open. February or April. If neither of those work, we won't be able to get to this project until November. The thing is, I would really, really like you guys to be at that page turning so that you can see page by page us going through with the designer to create the brief. And then when they give us the product back, you don't have to physically be there. We could do this over Zoom, but our best projects come with a team approach, and that involves the homeowner. So that being said, where do we go from here?
Well, it looks really great. I mean, we've been hunting for a builder for a little while now. We've had issues with finding people that, I don't know, follow through.
Basically a turnkey. Turnkey, and then So yeah.
Well, guys, what do you think? February or April? What day works best for you? We'll work around your schedule.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know if we could pull it off.
Not next,
in the next couple of weeks.
Probably April.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, Jay is on vacation. Jay, do you have any availability in March that we can squeeze a second page turning in March? Because it sounds like Sandy and Tony really want to get this going.
Let me check here quick.
Because you're the boss. I am remiss to ask, when would you guys like this project completely finished and delivered back to you?
Yeah, that's where we were shooting for, like the fallish of 2026 or whatever. That, then we could start moving things out of our main house here and put it up for sale in the spring of 27.
Okay.
But I'm not going to retire until March of 27, and then and of course we'd sell this house. So could we go, into 27? Sure.
Sure. No. We're not gonna do it. So Jay, if we were to deliver this October 1st, project like this is probably going to take 5 months to build. That means we need to start May 1st. The design process, if everything goes well, is 3 months. If we have to do some re-engineering, it's 4. So in all fairness to Sandy and Tony, do you think we can bump somebody and get them started before February 14th?
Yeah, I think so. So
Sandy, Tony, you guys have anything, I mean, between now and the 14th that jumps out to you, morning or afternoon?
Well, Friday, so Friday the 13th. I could end up doing.
I'll send out the calendar invite, and Sandy and Tony, would you guys please check your email inboxes Monday morning for the risk mitigation package design agreement in order to get this to Blueprint with the change order free standard, and then at the end of that, just understand that at the end of that package, you'll have your permit applied for, you'll have a bid from us, and it will be your option to bid other contractors. I just want to make that super clear.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool.
Perfect.
Well, guys, welcome to Timeless.
Yeah, thank you guys.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thanks. One other quick thing or whatever is not that it's a complication,
Sure.
but because of where we ended up buying, I want to mention it. They just have a thing of they want to approve the plans first because they want to make sure there's nothing crazy going in. It's not really an HOA, it's covenant. It's a covenant or whatever. So they want to make sure, and then they want the outside, the building. Once you start building, the building has to be up within a year, which you guys sound like you would do. And then I think you mentioned that you can't do you got to have a temporary driveway and stuff like that in order to cart things across because they don't want to mess up the ditch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm going to make a note of that. Not a problem. We're very familiar dealing with HOAs, so dealing with the developer's covenants, piece of cake.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, no problem at all.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
Appreciate you guys. Welcome.
Thank you guys.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk soon.
Thank you.
Hey, if you found this video useful and you want more systems to scale profits in your contractor, go to my Instagram and throw me a follow.